Yo, 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 what's good? Welcome back to Lights, Camera, Caption, third episode. We're going to go over, thoughts, recaps of episode 3 of DTF St. Louis. Thank y'all. Thank y'all for joining. Please, if you haven't already, hit that like button, subscribe. It's going to get, it's going to get wild because this series, I feel like something is coming. Something is coming. Eventually, we're going to get to the culprit. Eventually, we're going to get to whoever killed my guy Floyd, bro. Whoever killed him, y'all need the death penalty. Whoever did it. Because one, we know it's premeditated. You going down. You are going down. Whoever did it. Bruh, you need to. Floyd was such a good dude. In episode 3, shines a light on how good of a dude Floyd was. Yeah, he joined DTF St. Louis. Did you see what his wife was doing? Do you blame him? Do you really blame him? Yes, you could say, leave her. This is the early stages, though. He's looking for anything. I'm not going to blame it on Carl because Carl did. He was like, yeah, look it up. Open the app. See some titties. Yeah. He's swinging on swings and shit on a kid's toy. Yeah, just think about it. Like on a kid's toy, we're talking about this. Anyway, episode 3 starts off. Carolyn starts a paper trail. If someone watching this doesn't know what a paper trail is, it's basically covering your ass in advance. And what she does is she goes into Jamba Juice and she, instead of ordering her watermelon breeze like she normally does, she goes up and goes, hey, wait. And the chick behind the counter, she was already going to get the watermelon breeze. She wasn't waiting for the order. You know what I mean? She was trying to be prompt about it. Good customer service. She knows Carolyn and knows Carolyn's orders. Carolyn took offense to that today. She took offense to that shit today. She said, hey, wait. Wait. Where are you going? How do you know that I want to order that? And then the chick behind the counter, she's just like, but your watermelon breeze. She didn't say that, but that's the face she was given. She was just like, for like 365 consecutive days, that's what you've been getting. Carolyn took offense to it. She goes, what if I want to order something different? I'm gonna get something new today. I'm gonna get let me look around. The go-getter. The girl's like, that okay. She goes and gets the go-getter. We see another couple scenes, 2 to 3 more scenes, 2 to 3 more days of Carolyn getting the go-getter. She is creating her paper trail. She is saying, I broke away from my norm, not because of Carl, but because whatever the reason, I wanted to create a paper trail. So it shows 3rd or 4th day, she's sitting there and Carl comes in. Boom. We see that meeting that they made. We get a flashback of that. So basically that was giving us context about how she even got there in the first place, how smart she is. Which at this point we know. Carolyn's smart. So then we go to the detectives. Detective Jody, Detective Donahue. They're sitting there talking. Donahue's having a drink. They're at the bar, some bar. And the suspicions raised for Carolyn. Because obviously, Carolyn has some inconsistencies. She's been lying to Detective Jody. And so, there's that. Then we go over to a lot of this episode is Carolyn and Carl doing the Amazon position. We're going to get to that. Carl opens up. Carl and Carolyn, they want to know each other's dreams and they want to make those dreams come true. We've yet to see Carolyn's dreams. We've yet to hear Carolyn's dreams. We've seen a whole bunch of Carl's. What that tells me is, obviously, something we already knew. Carolyn has the advantage. She hasn't been vulnerable, you know? I mean, she has strategically. It's been about opening up about her marriage. But Carl's been vulnerable about his dreams, his wishes, the things that he thinks about in his subconscious mind, the things that he doesn't entertain with his wife. He talks about wanting to be overwhelmed by a woman, be overpowered. Talks about a time where someone overpowered him and just kind of laid their body weight on him. They had a buzz cut and Carolyn was like, "Oh, a dude." And he was like, "No, it was a lady buzz cut." A lady buzz cut, Carl? What the fuck is that? What? No, I get it. There's some, some GI Janes out there. And that's fine. I'm not using that in a derogatory way. That can work, that can work. Get a couple of like these like hoop earrings that are flesh with the ear. That'll anyway. So Carl tells Carolyn about his dream, the flat top lady laying her whole weight on him. And he adds, I was a little into it. I kind of liked someone else having control type of thing. He asked Carolyn, "Have you ever heard of the Amazon position?" I hadn't until this episode. But I've seen it. I've seen it before, obviously. Like, it's a thing out there. I just had never heard of it with that name. And maybe it's not that name. Maybe the name is copywritten and they just chose another one. But Carl explains it. He goes, "The man is laying on his back. He has his legs up and bent back." He's holding his legs. Oh, Lord. And his genitals are out. And so the woman has she inserts his genitals in hers, but she's standing up on the edge of the bed and like she's fucking him, like she's fucking him. She's fucking him, and yeah. And to be honest, a lot of the episode is cutscenes of the Amazon position, and maybe the consumers, maybe us that are watching, we go on to try that with our spouses. I'm not married. And even if I was, just to be in that position where you're just like that vulnerable with your legs, I commend you, women. And that's all I'm going to say. So after Carl talks about the Amazon position, Carolyn, she becomes vulnerable, quote unquote, and shares that they're having financial struggles, her and Floyd. And really, she talks about certain things she can't do because she doesn't have enough income Floyd doesn't have enough income, really, is what she's saying. Carl, being Captain Savaho, he goes, I can do something about that. Let me help. Let me help. He is so invested. We cut to Carolyn. Carolyn likes to jog. She's a runner. Hey. That's cool. That's admirable. That's admirable for sure. She is a driven individual. She's a very smart individual. We see her running. She's listening to her audiobook that she's been listening to the last 3 episodes. And the guy is saying, some self-development type quotes. I wrote a couple down. He goes, put yourself first. You're a life champion. Finish first. Okay. Sorry, excuse me. I get it. A lot of people's love language is words of affirmation. They love to hear words, and the words make them feel better. And so she does that. She listens to that. We see another cut scene. It goes to her talking to Carl. She tells Carl, you know what? You know what I think would make Floyd feel better is if he had life insurance. He wouldn't bring it up himself. I don't want you to say anything about like me bringing it up to you, because he would feel some type of way. Basically is the tone. That's the tone that she had. But she brings up life insurance. She wants Carl to convince Floyd to get life insurance. That doesn't sound sketchy at all. Then we cut to Floyd meets a man from DTF St. Louis. Modern Love is his name. I forgot the actor's real name. You guys don't beat me up. I'm not even going to look that up right now. You guys know who it is. A lot of you. I know who it is. I just can't think of the name right now. But Floyd meets him, Modern Love, enjoys the conversation. They're having a real good conversation. He's talking about, I want to talk about what it looked like when they first met up. So they first Floyd's already at the diner. Modern Love comes from another area, has his eyeliner on. He's hesitant, but comes up and approaches, sits down. Before he sits down, he goes, whatever Floyd's name is online, like Sweet Cheeks or something like that. And then Floyd goes, Modern Love. And this is great. This is definitely some masking shit. But he sits down, Modern Love, and Floyd looks at him and he's just like, he's holding a smile, which I was misreading that. I was like, oh, is he into dudes when I first saw this? He's smiling. He's like, hey, this and that. They're having some small talk. And then he goes, hey, I gotta make a phone call. I ordered some fruit, but everything here is good, basically. Goes outside, takes his phone, goes up to a staff member that's just outside getting a smoke, an Asian dude. He holds his phone up to the dude. He's like, does this look like a female to you? And he's showing him the profile photo of Modern Love and the Asian dude. Well, he's like, before he says that to the Asian dude, he's like, hey, I didn't bring my reading glasses. Can you tell me, does this look like a woman? And the Asian dude goes, that's David Bowie. And he goes, oh, goes back inside and they talk about it briefly. Um, he asks if he's a David Bowie fan. He's like, yeah, I just, love it. And the fact that they said you can choose any profile picture that represents like who you are essentially. And he chose David Bowie. And so, you know, they keep talking, they keep having conversation. It's a good conversation. They're going back and forth. They seem to be hitting it off as friends, pretty much. Then they leave the diner, the bar, wherever they're at. And Modern Love asks, hey, I know this isn't going to go anywhere. I feel the vibes. He read the room. He read it. Can I French kiss you? Floyd's like, he's like, I really want, he basically manipulated him. He was basically using stuff against him. Like he told Floyd how his friends, made him feel about coming out as gay or saying something that was gay positive and how they made him feel. And so he used that. He was like, is it okay for me to feel like I want to French kiss you right now? Is it okay for me to feel that? And Floyd was like, yeah. The guy kisses him, French kisses him. It was pretty much above the neck that we get camera view. But there was apparently, from what Floyd said, some ass play, some thrusting back and forth. And I get it. Like if I'm the actors, there's a certain level of what I want to show we can imply, and which is what they did when Floyd told them that there was ass play, but we never saw any. And I get it. I get it. I get it. At the same time, I get it. There's a level of commitment. And for this show that's a limited series, probably one season, just because they're not going to be able to hold these actors that long. You don't need to try to win Emmys by doing some butt play on camera. We can imply it. We can say that we did it. If it was a movie, drama, let's get that Oscar, baby. Put that finger in there, baby. Protrude the buttocks. Protrude the whole of the buttocks. No, that's, but to be honest, yes, there's more that you're willing to do when you know what the stakes are, when you know what is possible. Our Emmys, Oscars, they're not. People want Emmys too, though, and so he could have gone all out. He would have probably gone higher on the totem pole, but people have their boundaries. People have their boundaries, and I commend them for that. Not even knowing, maybe it was the writer's doing, and he was just like, is it necessary? Which is, I feel like a lot more filmmakers, writers, producers should ask that question. Is this completely necessary to the story? Can the story live without this vulgarity, this nakedness, this where we are doing the most, really. We're gonna move along. Carolyn and Carl, they meet. They explored things. So a lot of the cutscenes where it's showing Carolyn and Carl. They're exploring things sexually. They're doing all these things that aren't of the quote unquote norm, and living outside of the box within their affair. And it's keeping it fresh, it's keeping it fun. It's basically like a vacation, you know, and it's giving that energy like they're out on vacation when really they're just meeting at the suites that are in town. Floyd and Modern Love, like I said, we saw them French kiss. It goes back into that. It goes to the end of the kiss. We see Floyd's reaction. Floyd seems like he pissed his pants. A very uncomfortable feeling. He walks a weird way back to the car. Not even to the car. What he does is he sits down. I'm assuming on one of the bikes that Carl owns, because he starts moving as if he's riding or pedaling. But yes, his reaction looks. What I just thought about. We saw the camera. A lot of what happened in the first episode, we see Carl, quote unquote, riding that little tricycle to the crime scene. What if that wasn't Carl? What if Artel was in this episode when Floyd rides that bike? Maybe his other bike, the bike that he doesn't use that often. Floyd uses that one. And Floyd rode up to the pool hall with that one. It opens up things a lot more if that's not Carl on the bike and instead it's Floyd. That places Carl anywhere other than the crime scene. He could have still been there, but it's likely that absolves him if that was Floyd. How do we find that out? Floyd tells Carl about the kissing and thrusting. So we see another scene where Floyd he's telling him, he's like, I didn't want him to feel bad, you know? He really wanted to French kiss me. And so that's what we did. And I was trying to move my butt away and then move it forward. And then like we were like bumping penises, and his bump against my penis was a little more aggressive. None of this is what he said. But it was the vibes. It's the vibe. It's the energy of what he was basically saying. Like we were thrusting, and then there was ass play. Like he grabbed Floyd's ass too. I don't know what he did after he grabbed it. He was probably stroking it, but Floyd was still thrusting back and forth. They were dry humping. What the fuck? Anyway, Floyd, we cut to Floyd at the park with Richard. So any of you that thought Richard may be the killer, episode 3 kind of derails that school of thought, that idea. They're basically, hanging out together, having a good time for the first time, because Floyd has really been trying with Richard, but they're at this park and they're having a good time. Floyd is being vulnerable. Richard is saying some things that he may not say that often. I'm going to insinuate. He seems a lot more open. He seems a lot more engaged in conversation with Floyd at this park. He even says, we should do this instead of therapy. Floyd's jokes. He's like, Yeah, but we can't tell your mom. Valid. So they built some rapport. After a while, after a long time of Floyd trying to work that in, he actually built some rapport with Richard. We go back to the interview scene where both the detectives, Donahue and Jody, are interviewing the alleged killer, which is Clark. Clark says he loved Floyd. Donahue presses it. He's like, "What kind of love? What kind of love did you, you know?" And Clark is like, basically saying he actually loves this dude and he did not feel anywhere near the same for Carolyn. But it wasn't a romantic love with Floyd. I will add that. Carolyn doesn't want to talk about the dick curve. Carl brings it up. He's like, what happened with this Peyronie's disease and this and that? And she goes, oh, you know what? I don't even want to talk about that day. That day is, I know you don't want to talk about that day. At this point, like the people that are watching, we know that you did some dirty shit, Carolyn. Carolyn tells Richard. So we cut to, this is the last scene of episode 3. Richard is worried. He's like, our breadwinner is dead. Floyd is gone. And Carolyn, she's basically like, I always come through. Don't you know I always come through? We're going to be fine. We're going to be fine. And she said it with such confidence. She had a plan. This isn't hitting her on the blind side. This isn't something that's new out of nowhere. She was completely prepared for this. And this is how it appears. And that is honestly how episode 3 ends. I think it was a lot of Carolyn and Carl, having sex in the Amazon position with those montages. I want to say this was a montage heavy episode. Episode 4 just came out. I cannot wait to do my study on it and then get it out to you guys. Thank you guys for joining. Love y'all. Everybody that's watching, if you're here, you should have already hit that like button. You should have already subscribed to this channel. We love you. I love you. Mwah. All right, I'm out of here. Bye.